Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And we have an absolutely loaded show for you guys today. We have a bunch of news and notes that we're going to have to get to right off the top. Then we're going to be talking about the AFC South. So we're going to go through team by team, talk about where we think they're going to be, talk about the over-unders, so the odds from Vegas and everything like that. Maybe give you a little bit of gambling advice. There's one team that we definitely think you should bet on, so we'll get into all that.
There is?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about it already.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We are going to talk about a couple questions I have for you. That's going to be really fun. It's just a new segment that we're doing where I'm just going to ask you two questions. I think they're going to be kind of involved, and it just kind of some theories, some interesting things that I was thinking about, and I want to get your raw reactions a little bit.
You like messing with me.
Oh, I do. I love it. Yeah, so that's going to be fun. And then we're going to close it out with a top five like we do every single week. And this week is a really good one. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Top 5 fantasy breakout from sophomore players. I worded that very poorly, but basically the sophomore season, the guys that were rookies last year coming into their second season in the NFL, who's going to break out, who's going to be the surprise name.
There's always a few of them.
There's always a few of them. So we're going to give you our list and the guys that we think are the most likely to do it. But all right, so we got to get started. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot.
No, you're good. I'm here, man.
Hey, so we got to start off a little bit of coronavirus news, a little bit of things are going in the right direction for us for as far as getting football back in September. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announces, I think I just butchered that last name, whatever, announces that all pro sport teams can begin training camps immediately, right? So that's just in New York. This is kind of a state by state thing. So the New York state allows that's the Bills, Jets, and Giants, of course. My Giants jersey right here, bringing that in a little bit. So that's good. That's positive. And then obviously NFL facilities reopened on May 19th, and that sounds better than it really is. There's still no players, no staff are allowed unless you have medical or rehab purposes. You are not allowed in the building.
Yeah, about to say what's opened under those.
Yeah, exactly. So
restrictions.
So, but it's a step in the right direction. Obviously, we're two grown men wearing football jerseys. We really hope we get football back in the fall.
I definitely want it. Yeah, college especially, NFL, got to have something.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're going to see the NFL for sure. College is going to be a little bit different.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think the NFL, there's nothing that we've seen that's saying the NFL is going to be out.
Yeah.
College is a question mark. We don't know, because college it comes down to if students are not allowed on campus, how do you have football?
Yeah, there's no way you can get around that.
So it's going to be a tough situation. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you guys informed as more information comes in. We'll always keep you guys letting you guys know. As far as a couple rule changes that came out, there was a lot of conversation over the week about the Rooney Rule. So that changed a little bit. It was not what was originally coming out. Originally, it came out and they were talking about you were going to get a higher draft pick if you hired a minority head coach or GM. That did not end up happening, right?
I'm glad. Too.
Yeah. That, I mean, it's tough for us to talk about. I feel like as two white guys sitting here and talking about it, because we understand. There's.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lack of diversity in the NFL when it comes to its coaches, but I don't think it should come down to like a mini game sideshow. Hey, come on down. You hired a black guy, you're moving up in the draft. Yeah. I don't like the way that it sounds. If we have to do that in the year 2020, because I would really hope that we made some progression since then.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I'm glad it didn't have to go in that direction.
Yeah. So they did make changes. Basically, they increased the number of minority coaches that they have to interview. Right. So it went from 1 to 2, and then they added a rule that says you have to interview a minority coordinator as well. So that got added in. So they're increasing it, because I think there's been conversation around the NFL for a long time that the Rooney Rule has been broken. So they're trying to make changes in a positive situation.
Yeah.
So
of course, and I hope it does get better.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on, as far as rule changes, the only other rule change that really happened: teams can no longer block coordinators from interviews. So that's kind of cool. I mean, we've seen that over the years where like, I believe the Patriots were notorious for doing it, wouldn't allow their coordinator to go interview for a head coach.
McDaniels, right?
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think it was McDaniels that happened to, but it did happen. Well, I think it was McDaniels, actually.
I know teams have been wanting him for years.
Yeah, absolutely. So things like that have happened. And then the last, just as far as NFL team situations, the NFL agreed to lend the Rams owner, Stan Kroenke, another $500 million for additional stadium financing, which I just thought that was interesting.
They already have a crazy. I guess they need more money just to get it done, but that stadium is going to be insane.
It's going to be ridiculous. But the other thing is, the thing that really brought that to my attention, I thought was interesting. There's already been legal action that's been taken upon the players to get paid. So there's certain players. Todd Gurley is the big name, but there's other players that have not been paid on some kind of there was some kind of deadline that they were supposed to pay their players, that are not on their team anymore. Like
Todd Gurley was very vocal about
money.
it. Said, "Give me my money."
Exactly. So they haven't been paid yet. So that's really interesting. Like Stan, I guess is not cash rich right now. Yeah. He does not have it at the moment. So the NFL is actually having to give another team money, which is kind of crazy considering the amount of money these guys make. It's just insane. Moving down the list of different news, I think this is interesting. I know you have a take on this. Devanta Freeman is willing to skip the 2020 season if he doesn't get the contract he is looking for.
You give me the take on it because that man has ruined my fantasy team for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, exactly.
No, so he said that he's not retiring because
he's not retiring. That's absolutely right.
He put a tweet out, said I could play for 10 more years. Then that got deleted. I saw that. You said he declined Seattle?
Declined Seattle, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. So I guess...
how many people are lined up begging for Devanta Freeman right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would you not want to go play for that? I understand their offensive line is garbage. I get that, but... Come on, now at a certain point.
It's one of the situations. Carlos Hyde signed with the Seahawks, and they signed him in lieu of Devanta Freeman. I believe Devanta Freeman was their first choice. They ended up signing Hyde because Freeman basically said no. Hyde got a 1 year, $4 million, up to $4 million. I think there's incentives involved in that deal. So, if that's the kind of deal they offered Freeman, I get why you wouldn't want to do that because this is a guy
He was one of the top 5 paid.
I was going to say, when he signed his second contract, he was the highest paid running back in the league.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Didn't live up to it.
Yeah, he never did.
But
and it's unfortunate. This is just one of those situations which we always talk about. I feel like we bring this up a lot on the pod. The economics of the running back position.
Don't pay it.
This is the other side of it. We always talk about the guys in their prime. Do you pay them? Do you not? This is the guy that's outside of his prime that was once really good and thinks he has something in the tank.
He thinks he's in the prime, yeah.
Yeah, he's still, I do believe Devanta Freeman has something in the tank. I believe that.
Bro, I've said that for the past 2 years, though, and it has killed me, man. I mean, time and time again, he's had the chance in that offense
to be the guy.
To turn it up, and it's just, what happens? I mean, 2 years ago, he was injury prone. He was banged up a lot. Last year, he got hurt a little bit, but at a certain point, you can't ask for that much money.
I absolutely agree. So the way I want to take this, because there's one thing that I feel like I mentioned last year, right around the playoffs when the Seahawks signed Beast Mode, right? So they signed Beast Mode out of retirement, and I said, why didn't Adrian Peterson do the exact same thing? Why didn't Adrian Peterson wait until a team, needed a running back late in the game and sign on to be a running back when he's, healthy? Because Adrian Peterson obviously would have had some really good, could have some stretches of being really good.
At this age, take out week 1 through 16 wear and tear.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming in fresh, that would be dirty.
That would have been scary.
I said I hope our league doesn't transition to that, though.
You did. You absolutely did. So this feels like a step in that direction.
Oh, man.
Where we're looking at Freeman, and I'm okay. If it's just the running back position, I'm okay with that. I am. Because we're looking at Freeman and he's like, man, he probably wouldn't be good for 20 games. Like if he had to play 20 games in a row, he's probably not going to be worth anything by that 20th game. But if you give him a full NFL season, off season and NFL season to just train and be ready to go when his number is called.
You got to learn the plays. You got to get camaraderie with your teammates.
I get that, but at a certain point, running the ball is instincts, right?
I understand.
I get to a point. Yeah, you got to understand the plays and the blocking assignments and things like that. There's a lot of technicalities that comes into it. But this is a veteran running back. He's been around the league. He's been in a system for a while. I feel like he could come in. He could learn the blocking assignments and run through a hole. I mean that's.
I just don't like the sound of it. Now, give it that I do think that is also what Cam Newton is doing.
Yeah.
I don't think. I know that's what Cam Newton's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's waiting for a shot.
He's passing up an official backup job to wait for a guaranteed starter because somebody's going to go down.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is. It always happens every single year. Someone's going to go down. Devanta may be doing the same thing. Now, the thing that Cam's not doing, though, he's not waiting for a team to get to the playoffs where they just need that extra boost.
Yeah. Oh, and that, Devanta Freeman's probably not doing that either. I'm saying that as an example.
I don't want it to go down like a beast mode thing to where we have guys that are continuously doing that and then, almost like Gronkowski.
He's coming back after.
Now he's coming back into the regular season. I'm glad. But what if last year we all knew that the Patriots needed Gronk? That probably would have helped them get over the Titans hump.
What if he comes back in week 16, right? Ready for the playoffs?
It sounds a little cheap to me.
Yeah, no, I get that. I definitely do. It's at a certain point you can't control it.
It reminds me of what the NBA has a problem now with workload management. Like you have the Clippers, one of the most dominant teams when you look at 1 through 12 on that lineup. Mm-hmm. Give it that 7 of them don't play out all the time. It's just they change them in and out. So when they get to playoffs, they're ready to go. But you have all the fans who are wanting to see this product, this good team, this on the court.
You want it,
and you don't get to see it.
Yeah. If I'm paying for tickets to go see the Lakers, I don't want LeBron to be sitting out that game.
Yeah,
like that would suck. Right, so gotcha. And then that's been that.
I know
remember that.
I know I put a different spin on it. I just don't want to see the competitive advantage go to it. Like, I mean, how much buzz happened when Seattle got Marshawn?
There was a lot, yeah. And I think we were both sitting there like, okay, what does he have?
I wasn't 100% sold on him, but some people were like, exciting. Oh my gosh, this is putting them over the hump. They're the favorites in the NFC now.
Definitely, yeah. So no, I get what you're saying. I thought it was interesting. I think it is interesting. It's one of those things where
someone's gonna get hurt and Devontae will come in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
For whatever reason, maybe he just didn't want to go to Seattle.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a dynasty player, keep him on your bench. Just wait, like he's going somewhere. All right, and then the last, another piece of news: Aldon Smith is officially reinstated. Linebacker for the Cowboys, hasn't played since 2015. Don't know if that's going to be relevant at all. The Cowboys already have a pretty good linebacker, linebacker core. So we'll see what happens there. Interesting though, he's back. Notable signings: we already talked about Carlos Hyde, so I'm going to skip over that. Joe Flacco signs with the Jets on a 1-year deal.
How much was it? Do you have the numbers too?
I don't have the numbers here. No.
Pretty sure it was pretty minimal.
It was very minimal.
I guess that's the Sam Darnold gets mono again thing, right?
Yeah.
That's the fail-safe.
The interesting part is Joe Flacco is not expected to be ready for week 1. He is still recovering from that neck injury. So he's not expected to be ready for week 1. But I mean, they're just adding a backup, and that makes sense. Saw something saying
that Jets management really liked Flacco whenever he was coming out of Delaware.
Yeah.
So he gets a chance to go be the backup and maybe play hero.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so funny to like watch the evolution of a career, right? In the Joe Flacco career, I think there should be a 30 for 30 on it, because just from there were so many question marks coming out of college, right? Coming from a small school like that, gets drafted, goes to a perfect situation for him. Wins the Super Bowl, has that great run.
Super Bowl MVP.
Super Bowl MVP, and he had a great run. Ends up being the highest paid quarterback, and then never truly lives up to the highest paid quarterback. I don't think anybody would argue with that.
He got paid for the stuff he already accomplished. Exactly. He never once met the bar after that.
And then obviously gets passed up by Lamar Jackson. Goes to the Broncos, has a chance to be the guy. Gets hurt, and then I never watched. I watched a lot of Broncos games last year, and I remember like the second Drew Lock walked in, was on the field, it felt like they were a different team. I felt like they were a better team, So that was always interesting. Now he's truly signing up to be a backup, So just interesting. Yeah, that's just an interesting, way that the NFL works. It happens fast. And then the last notable signing, Anthony Harris signs his free agent tag.
Oh my
I know you're excited about that. I had to put that in there for you.
So happy because I had heard before the draft that we were looking to get a 5th or a 6th round pick for this guy. And that just hurt my heart because we have a bad secondary, Yeah. And I would say Anthony Harris is a top 10 guaranteed safety. Harrison Smith, top 10 guaranteed. I would argue top 5. I'm biased, of course, with the Vikings.
Yeah.
So we'll say top 10. That can help your below average corners tremendously.
Yeah,
absolutely. If they have that safety net over top, we got him. So happy.
Definitely agree. All right, so a couple rumors here. I think we have to talk about Jamal Adams. We talked about this.
He's going to the Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about this when we did our mock draft, our final mock draft before the NFL draft, and we allowed trades to be in there, and we did it together. And we said the Cowboys should trade number 19 or 17, for Jamal Adams. Make that deal. Now, granted, we didn't know how the draft was going to fall.
I didn't know CeeDee Lamb was going to be on the board.
CeeDee Lamb was there. That might not have been as good a trade. But yeah, so there's still that conversation with him going to the Cowboys. It's just been so crazy the way the Jets have man, I just think their whole franchise is in shambles right now. I really do. Like they've mismanaged so many situations back to back to back, and now we're looking at the Jamal Adams situation. I'm kind of hot on this. I have a little bit of
you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so let me take this for a second. There's so many reports coming out. Jamal Adams isn't happy. We see that come out, and then we see the Jets want to make him a Jet for the rest of his life, but also they're listening to trades. And to me, like, it's all this kind of bullshit that's coming out from the Jets. And essentially, they want to trade him. Like they don't want to pay him what he wants for what Jamal Adams probably wants. Jamal Adams is the best safety in the league. I'll say that. And people might want to argue in the comments. That's fine. Tell me who you think it is. That's great. To me, Jamal Adams is the best safety in the league. And I don't think there's anybody who follows the game that would say he's not top 3. I think that's just guaranteed. Jamal Adams, he's 24 years old. Pay him what he wants because you're the Jets and your safety is probably the biggest name on your team. Aside from Sam Darnold, I guess, but and Le'Veon Bell, but Jamal Adams is the guy. He is, and he's a good teammate. He's a good player. He does all the things right. Pay him for not only what he's done, but what he's gonna do. And they're talking about trading him. Yeah, he's probably gonna go to the Cowboys. I mean, and Jamal Adams has come out and said he wants to go to the Cowboys if he gets traded. And he said it the right way. It all sounded good, but
I think he wants out.
Yeah, I think he does, but I think Jamal Adams is playing this the right way. I think he's being the right player. Like, if the Jets are willing to pay him what he deserves, and I'll say what he deserves to be the highest paid safety.
Yeah, he does. I mean, set the bar.
Yeah, he should absolutely set the bar. The thing is, the Cowboys, they're gonna have to pay Dak. That's actually the next thing on our docket. We're gonna talk about the Dak stuff. They're gonna have to pay Dak. They already let Byron Jones go because Byron Jones wanted too much money. Byron Jones ends up going to be the highest paid corner in the league. Can they afford to pay the highest paid safety? Can they? I don't know. That's an interesting, I don't know how their books look, but I can't imagine they can afford all of it.
I would say no right away. He wants to go to Texas. That's where he's from, of course, hometown. Yeah. If you're the Jets, I think you have to sit Jamal down and figure out if there's a way it can work. Maybe he's asking such a ludicrous number to where he's almost forcing their hand. It's like, yeah, you give me this payday, I'll be a Jet, sure.
Yeah.
What if it's $4 million over what the highest guy is right now? What if it's something that is truly we don't know. No,
you're absolutely right. We don't know the story. We never do.
He's playing it right by saying that if he's asking for this much, Jets probably only go there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting to walk. He's getting to go where he wants to go anyways, and he's still getting a payday.
Yeah.
And then if not, the Jets are giving him ludicrous amounts of money.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
I don't know. It's just I don't know how it's going to go. Jamal is top 3 safety in the league.
Yeah.
He's a guy that you got to have on your team. And if you're the Jets, I do not see how you can afford to lose him.
I don't know.
Reminds me of Jacksonville. You get all this good talent. You can draft all day. If you cannot retain them for at least their second contract, what are you doing?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think the Jets have. I mean, it's not only this, and I'm not going to go into the whole Jets thing because we got a lot on the docket and we're already 15 minutes in here, so I'm not going to get into all that. But
it's an Adam Gase problem.
Yeah, I really do. I think it's an Adam Gase problem. So we'll move on. Cowboys reportedly made an offer that would make Dak the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
It was $35 million a year, right?
I believe it was. It was a little bit under 35 because I believe 35 is what Russ is getting.
Yeah.
So it would be under that. According to a report that I saw, yeah, exactly. According to a report I saw, it was similar to the Jared Goff deal, and Jared Goff is getting $110 mil guaranteed over the next 5 years. So yeah, crazy.
I don't know what to think about it.
I see that smirk on your face. Go for it.
There's been times where I've had Dak's back. There's been times where I've said Dak has the potential to play up to a top 10, top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. But if you're going to sit here and turn down just south of $35 million and be the second highest paid,
yeah.
Get out of here. Go to another team. Go to a team without that offensive line, without Zeke, without those wide receivers, without that defense that continuously can get you a break and get the ball back to you.
Great defense, yeah.
What are you doing? Have fun. Go play somewhere else. Get him out of there.
I absolutely agree. Now,
I'm just afraid my Vikings are going to do something stupid and pay him the most money or something after Kurt. I don't know.
All right, so the report that I saw is where there's getting a hang up. And granted, there's so much smoke to this. And of course, this is Dallas, so it's already a heightened kind of topic that everyone wants to talk about. There's so much smoke. There's so much extra shit. I tried when I was putting this docket together. I tried to get through all that. I went through so much shit to try and put it all together. At a certain point, we don't really know the full truth, and we're probably never going to know. At a certain point, something's going to happen. He's either going to get signed or moved on, and we'll just never really know all the little things that are going on into this. The one thing that I've seen that I do believe that I've seen consistently is that the big issue is Dak wants a 4-year deal, and the Cowboys want to give him a 5-year deal.
Okay, so I mean, it's if he has a problem with the dollar amount there, that's where I have a problem with Dak. If he has a problem with the year amount, because that means that he's obviously wants a shorter contract so he can get re-upped again, because we know how the deal's going to go. Once the Pat Mahomes comes out, there's going to be the Lamar deal after that. There's going to be, and then there's going to be the guys that we're not even talking about right now that are coming on.
I 100% support that aspect of it, if that's true.
That aspect, I believe.
Granted, Dak Prescott should not be the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. He shouldn't. But that is
we didn't even hit on that issue. We didn't. He's not worth that.
But that's the economy of being a quarterback. I mean, I had a full-on argument about how the Ryan Tannehill deal for the Titans was a fair deal for the Titans because of the economy of the quarterback market. And this was an argument with you, just for everybody listening.
Tannehill could have broken it off in the Titans and said, "You pay me this, or I'm walking." And Tennessee, what are you going to do at that position?
Exactly. So it's one of those tough things where I get it. You kind of have to take the number away from it and say, yeah, he's not worth that, but. There was a time when Matt Ryan was the highest paid quarterback. There was a time when Jared Goff was the highest paid quarterback. Joe Flacco. Like, these guys, they get paid. Your middle tier quarterback, you get paid big money. That's just
if you were an above average starter in the National Football League, you're get a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna be one of the richest people in the world, honestly. All right, so take that away. I understand Dak looking at the situation and saying, if I get a 4-year deal, because he already had one, if he gets another 4-year deal and then another one, he added an extra contract into his career. So when it all adds up, he can add an extra contract in the end of his career with the money going up, because the money's not going anywhere. Like, the money's going to keep going up. The guy who gets paid 10 years from now is going to make we're going to be looking at this contract and call it a deal.
Oh yeah.
So that's just how it works. I get that aspect of it. I like that. At the end of the day, you're being offered that kind of money to be a Cowboy. The argument that Jerry Jones always puts out there, and that I 100% agree, you are worth more being a Cowboy than you are being a Jaguar, than you are being a Viking, being a Dolphin, being like the market for being a Cowboy is
your
just
face
ridiculous.
On that franchise.
It's just ridiculous.
I mean, you can make more almost on advertisement than
exactly.
You could your contract.
You make so much more in the advertising side of it. So take the deal, be a Cowboy. I mean, there's just something to it. So
I just don't think that Dak is flat out worth that. We have yet to see him. What did he do last year? Man, he beat the crap out of your Dolphins. He can beat the crap out of the Jets. He can beat the crap out of bad teams.
Yeah.
But what did he do whenever the Vikings came into his town? He lost. What about Buffalo in his town on Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
he lost.
I agree. I will say I've always looked at the Cowboys as a team that's underperformed based on the amount of talent that they've had. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say Dak's worth anywhere near that. I think he's good. He's really good. He's like we said, he's above average quarterback in the NFL.
And you got to pay him, and I get that. But him saying no to that much, ridiculous. Saying no to the second, it's like, bro, you're not better than Russ. I can name 5 quarterbacks right now that I'd rather have than Dak.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, so we'll move on there. I think we're kind of in agreement. We got to talk about the arrests that have happened in the NFL, and I put it all together in this one little thing. I want to say, I think my theory on it is coronavirus has hit. There's not a lot for these guys to do. I think they're getting bored. I think they're going back to old habits.
That's sad.
Yeah, I think it's scary. I think it's sad. The big one is DeAndre Barker and Quentin Baker. Thank you. And Quentin Dunbar, both cornerbacks, one for the Giants, one for the Seahawks, get accused of being involved in armed robbery of cash and jewelry at a party in Florida. All right, so a couple more things on that. They pled not guilty. They pled not guilty. There's a lot of reports that are coming out that they had lost a bunch of money playing poker, that this was a poker game and not a barbecue or something like that.
And they wanted that money back.
There are arguments, there are reports that they were just trying to get the money that was theirs. So they weren't stealing from anybody. They were just trying to get money that was owed to them, and it just got heated and got out of control. So there's things like that. At this point, there's just so much shit. It's kind of a mess. We don't know. I kind of want to wait to hold judgment because we don't know the full story. I've heard reports that make the players sound kind of not in the wrong. Like, they made a poor decision, but they're not like bad guys. And I've heard reports where they're fucking awful human beings. Like,
I'm not gonna sit here and trash them for being
The one other thing I want to add: DeAndre Baker is suing Quentin Dunbar's lawyer for libel and slander. There's a whole nother thing to this where these guys are not like sticking together. The lawyers are posting shit on Twitter. There's a whole nother side to this where they're kind of like there's infighting between these two players and their lawyers. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. We got to see how it plays out. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and bash anyone for their mistakes. These guys should know better. They shouldn't put themselves. It's living above reproach, like to the point where you cannot be questioned.
The best point. I think that's the best point. I can say all those things. Let's wait to old judgment. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
man, like, what are you doing in this situation?
You'll never have to worry about that if you just don't open the door to that. It's just a different headspace. I get go out, have fun. It's your money. You're young, live it up. blah, blah, blah. But now look at where you're at. Now, DeAndre Baker, you look like if everything holds true and he would be out of the NFL, he would be facing jail time 100%. Yeah. First round pick, bust. He's done. His contract null and void. He didn't live up to it. Then next thing you know, you're working at Enterprise, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
absolutely agree. Good. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. So we'll move on. A couple other things. Cody Lattimore, wide receiver for Washington. This is kind of farther down the depth chart a little bit, but he was booked on felony charges of assault in second degree, menacing, and illegal discharge of a firearm. Excuse me. So that's kind of crazy. There was a quote from the attorney that says, and I'm just going to read this out, "There's an entire backstory to this situation that constitutes one of the most highly provocative situations you can imagine. Please withhold judgment until the facts of what took place that night are known." So I'm gonna do that.
I mean, when they say that, I guess I'll chill out. Yeah.
There's nothing to say. Just another note on that. Witnesses said that they heard arguing and what sounded like gunshots inside the apartment. One person was identified as having minor non-gunshot injuries. So, what it sounds like on face value is assault and a gun was involved at some point. We don't know. We'll see. We'll move on from there. It's just one of those hard things where it's like, I don't want to shit on somebody for. No, we don't want to. Be that guy.
I don't know what's happened exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's just insane. Ed Oliver, this is probably the biggest name. Ed Oliver gets pulled over, accused of driving while intoxicated and unlawfully carrying a weapon near Houston.
See, and that's when we can bash.
That's when we can bash.
That's when we can bash.
You're being an idiot.
Yes, you're flat out being stupid. I don't even know where to start with it. I mean, you got to be better than that. You have got to just remind yourself, man. Yeah, I just don't get it.
Listen, I know it's COVID, but there's still Uber. There's still ways to get around this. I mean, you have the money. You're a top 10 pick, a year ago in 2019? There's no reason. There's just no fucking reason. You're in Houston. You have enough friends. Get a fucking ride. Do whatever you have to do. Don't put yourself in a situation where this kind of thing happens. It sucks. It just does.
It's just bad because who knows what else could have happened. I mean, it could be a career over right there.
He could have killed somebody. I mean, and that's kind of the thing that we always hear in the assemblies at school. But it's like, the wrong fucking thing happens. You're driving intoxicated. You could have killed somebody, and that's just stupid. So we'll move on. And then the last one, your Auburn guy, Packers. Help me with this name. Montravius Adams faces 3 misdemeanor charges for a traffic stop. Again, to me, this was very minor. The charges were driving with a suspended, canceled, or revoked registration, driving without insurance, and possession of less than an ounce of marijuana.
That's not that bad. He needs to start playing better on the field. Personally, that's his problem.
The other part of it is just immaturity, and that's kind of I think what we're seeing from all these. At the end of the day, the one thing you can definitely put on them. It's immature. It's stupid. And I get it. These guys are kids, and we kind of lose sight of that at times. Yeah. Because they don't look like kids, but they're kids. They are, and it's just like
those Auburn boys are having a rough go at it because it wasn't too long ago that 2 of them were caught at the Mexico border. Remember?
Yes.
Juan Bray.
We didn't talk about that. Yeah.
Greg Robinson, I believe.
Yeah, Greg Robinson.
One of the biggest busts of all time.
Yeah.
They're going to federal.
Ridiculous. Just insane.
Be better.
Be better. All right, so we got out of the news. Now we get to have a little bit of fun here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the AFC South, right? So where do you want to start with this? Which team do you want to start?
Tighten up.
All right. So we live in Tennessee.
Division winners.
You think the Titans win the division?
Yes.
I actually do agree with you. I got to find the Titans here. Where are they? Goodness, I lost them. Jacksonville Titans. All right, here they are. All right, so last season the Titans went 9-7. Obviously, made it to the AFC Championship. Very historic season for them. They had a good season. Their over/under is 9.5 wins. Over. That's the one I think we're going to push the over. I do. I don't see.
Oh, you feel the same?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. So I guess. I
thought we were different on that one.
No. Okay. Titans are 100% going to be better.
Yes.
In free agency, they get Vic Beasley for a 1-year deal. They get an offensive lineman. They got Jack. They got Ty. Sambrello. Sorry, I have all their names there.
You're good. So we're just going to leave the Jadeveon news off too.
Yeah, we can't talk about Jadeveon.
I know.
Maybe.
I think it's happening. If you add Jadeveon on top of that, and then
that number goes up. That 8.5 goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bet now. Take 8.5. I'm seriously considering putting a little bit of money on it right now because I think.
Oh, you said 9.5 the first time too.
Did I say 9.5?
Yeah.
It's 8.5.
So it's 8. No, it's 8.5, which is way better odds.
Okay. Yeah. No, 8.5 wins. Over. Yeah, 8.5. I said 9.5 because that's where it should be. It should be at 9.5.
It should.
They were
Makes
a good
it a little tougher there.
They were a good team last year. They played very well. And now they did that starting the season off last year 4-2. They're coming in. They have a great defense. Even if you don't believe in Ryan Tannehill, they have a great defense and they have a great run game. That's good for a lot of wins in the NFL.
Not to mention that Houston got worse.
Yeah, Houston got worse, and we're going to talk about them. And in the draft, they did exactly what you wanted them to do. They beefed up their offensive line with Isaiah Wilson. They added Christian Fulton at cornerback to help out that cornerback room. That was their best pick. It absolutely was. They add Darrington Evans, a running back, just a scat back to complement Derrick Henry. I know you didn't like the pick, but the value or you didn't like the value, you didn't like all that.
I see what they did. They could have done it later. Yes. But I mean, they did it.
Again, but at the end of the day, just the player on the field, it looks good, yeah. Right? And then, you get into it. I'm really excited for the Titans this year. I mean, keep it going.
I seriously think that they're going to win this division. They are not going to be true contenders when it comes to the AFC, the way it stacks up against the Chiefs and Ravens. Mm-hmm. But look for them right there at the 3 or 4 seed, and they can make some noise right there. Like I said, you have a good defense, running game travels. If Derrick Henry can keep up his production, which they're going to have to figure out his contract anyways. I know they're going to have to work on something before he plays an actual snap. But, I mean, why not?
Yeah,
Let's see it.
I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. So we'll move on. Who do you think's next up?
Let's go down the order in which they were. I think the Texans were next.
All right, so we'll talk Texans next. Texans, obviously 10-6 last year, won the division last year. Their over/under is 7.5. Excuse me, I'm all over the place. 7.5 over/under. That's kind of crazy, right?
That's hard to pick.
That's hard to pick.
You say over.
I hope it's under. I mean, the Dolphins get their first and second round pick next year. I hope it's way under. Yeah, I think if I look at the team,
bad.
I could absolutely see them being bad. I think they're a winning team. I think they're an 8-win team. South is tough this year. We really don't know how it's going to go. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to pull up their schedule here. So
who's?
I'm going to pull up the Texans schedule. You talk what you think about the Texans.
Texans didn't do anything crazy. They added on Vernon Hargreaves. That was a guy who hasn't really lived up to it. Bradley Roby. He is probably one of their better free agency acquisitions. But the problem here is that you got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going with it.
Yeah, they brought on Brandon Cooks, who was supposed to be the guy to step up there. He's been on different teams in the past, 2 different teams in 2 different seasons now?
Yeah.
Or 3 years, 2 teams, whatever you want to call it. He's not DeAndre Hopkins. I think they're going to punish Deshaun Watson. That offensive line has gotten better. At 7.5, if I had to put on it, it's hard to bet that they just go 8-8. I don't see them winning 9 games.
They have a tough schedule.
I don't see them winning 9.
Yeah,
based on last year's performance with them going 10-6, that automatically means that they're slated and a division winner. They're slated against some good games. I bet they play the Patriots.
Yeah, you want to go through it?
Yeah.
I mean, let's go through it because this is a good one. This is a really interesting conversation. All right, so starting week 1, they play the Chiefs.
Loss.
They play the Baltimore Ravens next.
Loss.
They play the Steelers next. It's a tough one.
Do you want to give them a toss-up?
Give them a dub there. Yeah, give them a dub there.
2-1.
They could go 0-3. They could go 0-3 to start the season. And I always say, teams that start off slow. Is that
at Pittsburgh? If it's at Pittsburgh, it's an L.
It doesn't say here. I don't know. But either way. Oh, yeah, no, it's at Pittsburgh. It is. Yeah.
0-3.
Yeah, so 0-3. Then they play your Vikings at week 4.
I mean,
that's a tough one. Yeah, yeah. I think the Vikings have a good shot again. They could go 0-4.
Vikings are better than the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an argument. I think it's a toss-up a little bit.
A toss-up?
I think it's close, yeah.
Our defense is better than their defense. Our offense.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think the Vikings would win that, but I want to at least be fair a little bit here.
What? Where are they better than us?
We're not going to argue this. That's fine. Vikings win that. That's fine. I agree with you. I do.
You're giving... You challenged it with the Vikings, and you didn't challenge it with Pittsburgh.
I challenged it. I definitely challenged it with Pittsburgh.
0-4, move on.
0-4. I mean, yeah, we don't even have to go. I mean, but then they play Jacksonville twice, obviously. Play Titans twice. They play Green Bay week 7. They get to play the Browns week 10. The Patriots week 11. Then they get the Lions. That's a good one. They get the Bears. They get the Colts twice and the Bengals. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, give me the under.
Yeah, I think the under, that's a tough, especially because my theory, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, my theory when I talk about playing games, if their first month is brutal, I always look at their entire season as really tough because you lose the motivation, it starts to creep in on you, you start to see doubt. Now, granted, I mean, that's never a foolproof plan, but I look at that first month and I mean they could go 0-4, they easily could go 0-4. They could be going into their bye. Because they lose to Jacksonville, even if they beat their division opponents in the Jaguars and the Titans, which we think the Titans are a toss-up as well. I mean, they could be going into their bye, 2-5.
Well, and then you start to sit there and think, should like your players are already losing motivation. You're thinking, well, they don't have the pick, so there's no need for them to tank and all.
Bro, your players lose motivation. You look into the draft and you say, oh, we don't have a first or a second round pick.
I mean, what do you do at that point?
What do you do, man? That's tough. That's scary. So we'll move on with the Texans. Anything else you want to talk about with what they did?
No.
I think we liked their draft for the most part. Ross Blacklock, I liked it at pick number 40. Jonathan Greenland, they added defense basically, but I mean that was good for what they had, I thought. But we'll move on to the Colts. The Colts are predicted to be the winner of this division at 9.5 over under.
I can see it.
I can see it.
It's Titans and Colts for me. Texans are down there.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. You're
not a Phillip Rivers guy.
Phillip Rivers, I've always believed in until last season. Last season, he threw too many picks. He was making too many bad decisions. He was working way too hard to throw a 30-yard pass. And granted, I mean that's tough in the NFL. I get it, but you're an NFL quarterback. You should be able to do that. I mean, he was putting it all in there, and you know he's always been a pusher. He never he's always had like one of the weirdest releases of all time where he just pushes the ball and it just goes 50 yards down the field beautifully. Yeah. But so it's one of those things where I think he's hit a wall, and I think he's one of those quarterbacks that you hit a wall and it's just gonna I do. I think that's what's going to be.
I don't know. I don't hate him. I like him more than Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Colts' success, if they're able to do it, I think it's between them and the Titans.
Yeah. I think 9.5's too many. I mean, you just look. I mean, it's a similar schedule as the Texans that we just talked about, so we don't need to go through every team's schedule. But I mean, yeah, I think that's tough. I really do. I think there were 7-19 last year, and they had no quarterback, and they were still a good football team. I think they're going to do a lot of what the Titans are going to do. I think they're going to run the ball really well. They added Jonathan Taylor in the draft. They already had Marlon Mack, who was really good. Obviously, they have a great offensive line, and they added depth to the offensive line as well in the draft.
And DeForest Buckner on the defensive line.
They added DeForest Buckner on the defensive line. They have a good defense. They're going to have a good defense, not great defense. They're going to have a great offensive line and a great running game.
I love their defense.
You love their defense?
Yeah.
DeForest Buckner.
Darius Leonard, Malik Hooker.
You're a big fan of the levels.
I love having levels. As long as you can line up. They brought on Xavier Rhodes. No, he's not a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
He can play cornerback in the National Football League.
I absolutely
He can't line
agree.
up against the ones now, but
I absolutely agree. We go down. They signed Darius or Sheldon Day, another defensive tackle who I actually kind of like, to a 1-year deal. Yeah, no, I get it. I do. I think 9.5's too many. I go under.
I agree in saying I think they go 9-7 because I think the Titans win the division at 10.
Okay.
This is always one of those divisions where no one really blows it out of the water.
Yeah, no, I absolutely
Look at last
agree.
year, 10-6 got it done for the Texans.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and then the lowest team in that same division was 6-10 with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tough one. I absolutely agree. All right, so the last one we have to talk about, Jacksonville here. Last year they were 6-10. This year their over under is 4.5 wins. Where are you sitting?
Over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over.
It's hard to say. So
it's tough.
What was the Dolphins' record last year?
Dolphins went 5-10. Or 5-11, excuse me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And they picked 5th overall. It's really hard to put any team under 4. That's really difficult to do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think Washington and the Cincinnati hit that mark.
Yeah.
That's that. And the Lions, Detroit didn't get 4.
Yeah.
Man, I don't see them being that bad. I think Gardner can do something.
I like Gardner Minshew. The thing is, I look at their team and I'm like, man, they had a shit ton of picks this year. They added C.J. Henderson. They added Clavon Chason. They added Laviska Shenault. They added Devon Hamilton. We go down their draft and I love it. I mean, their first 4 picks I love.
Very well.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I mean, and they added some depth. They added Colin Johnson, who's in the 5th round. I think a lot of people were excited about that at wide receiver. I mean, I go down, I look at their team, and I say I like their running game. I still like Leonard Fournette. I understand he wasn't worth a top 5 pick. I get it, but I still like Leonard Fournette. He's good. I really like Gardner Minshew. I like what he did. I think he's going to improve this year. He has that it factor. I know that's hard to say, but I just see it. I don't know what it is.
It's the porn stash.
Man, I swear.
That's what it is.
And then I love their receiving core. I love DJ Shark. He's one of my favorite receivers in the league. And then they add Laviska Shenault. I think that's just a perfect combination. Like with Laviska Shenault being that kind of jitterbug type of guy who can do a lot of different things, line him up in a lot of different ways. And then you have DJ Shark, who's just go up and get it type of speed type of guy that you gotta love on the outside. I like their team.
If they got 6 last year and they didn't have Jalen for a majority of it, maybe all of it, I can't remember if he was sitting out or however he played that. I can't remember off the top of my head. AJ Bouye was banged up a little bit. They've only gotten better with these draft picks, so it's just hard to put them under 4.
They added Tyler Eifert at tight end. They added Joe Schobert, who we liked at linebacker coming into the draft. They still have Yannick Ngakoue. I know there's conversations there, but they still have him right now. Probably not going to play, but right now he's still on the roster. We have to look at it as a guy who at some point is going to say, man, I really want money versus no money. So that's one of those things. I mean, I agree. I think it's over 5. I think they win 5 or 6
I think they split with the Texans. They always split with the Titans for some reason.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
where do you think the Texans land if you think they split with the Texans? We went down their draft. I know we're kind of going all over the place, but where do you think the Texans land? If you had to pick their record, what do you think it is?
6-10.
6-10.
7-9.
At the best. Yeah.
7-9.
Yeah.
Deshaun, you're a great quarterback, but
love Deshaun.
Bill
Deshaun's
O'Brien
good for a lot of
wins.
wins.
Anywhere, man.
Yeah, Deshaun's good for a lot, but it's like, who's the receiver now? Brandon Cooks, who has had injury issues. I mean, not as bad as Fuller, but he's had injury issues. You know, Fuller's not going to complete a full season.
2 Brandon Cooks isn't 1 D-Hops in my book. That might be bold for some people. I know some people are really big on Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I agree with you.
D-Hops is that much. I think Brandon Cooks is good. I think D-Hops is that much better.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. All right, so we'll move on. That's the AFC South.
So Titans winner for me, Titans winner for you.
Yeah, Titans winner, and I don't
Titans,
think...
Colts, Texans, Jags.
Yeah, so just as far as if I'm guessing how it all ends up, I think Titans are the AFC South winner. I don't think we see a wild card team out of this division.
No.
That's a tough one. That's saying the Colts don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, the Colts got it.
The Colts can make the playoffs. The Colts are a tough one. They would be on the edge for me, but I'll
give it to the Colts.
Did we both go under on the Colts at 9.5? That's tough.
Like I said, if I have the winner, the Titans getting 10-6, you can't really say over for the Colts because then the Titans aren't, unless they tie and somehow get a breaker, you know?
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on. 2 questions I have for you, right?
Bet.
So I got to set this up. 1 second. Keep talking about something.
Talk about something.
Just give me a second.
Cam Newton's brother transferred to Auburn. What? I was really happy.
I knew it.
Now, he's not going to be able to play quarterback, but he's going to be on the team.
All right, so I'm ready. Okay, good. Here we go.
Don't get me going.
I'm sorry.
Just pull me back.
You're right. All right, so would you trade a first-round pick for a player who in his career...
Where am I picking?
Huh?
Where am I picking?
Just a first-round pick.
Oh, come on.
Let me give you the situation here.
Oh, my God.
Would you want a player on your team for one that in his career has scored 1,093 points? He has scored 141 points over the past 4 years. He has had 15 game-winning plays, like last-second game-winning plays. He is a Super Bowl champion, 3-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time first-team All-Pro, a second-team All-Pro in 2017, and was part of the NFL 2010 All-Decade team. Oh, and he was the most accurate kicker in NFL history.
There we go. There's where it comes in. Kicker.
He is 11-12 in the playoffs for 58 points, and his name is Justin Tucker. He is the best kicker in the league. He's the best kicker if he keeps it going in the history. In the history of the NFL, he's the best kicker of all time.
Wow.
Would you trade a first round pick for him?
Vinatieri.
He could. He's really close. Statistically, he's close.
Oh, statistically, yes. Clutch factor, Vinatieri.
We'll see.
Nuts of steel.
We'll see.
Give it to me. So I like the way that you did it, bringing up the points, and yes. And you would think me repping the Vikings would be like, give me that kicker because we need the kicker. But I'm going to say no. I'll be the weirdo and say no on this.
I think that's crazy. I was looking at... So,
you think it's crazy?
Right now, and I'm saying...
for the first round.
I'm saying right now, Justin Tucker, he was drafted in 2012. He's about 30 years old, and if you look at kickers like longevity, he's got another 8 or 9 years, right? Yeah. He's got another 8 or 9 years of being really, really good.
I will give you, for the sake of this argument, we get 8 years of still prime Justin Tucker, still lighting it up.
I would give the 26th pick in the draft for Justin Tucker, absolutely. What did the Vikings pick last year?
25th, 27th.
You're telling me you wouldn't take Justin Tucker?
I do not want Justin Tucker.
Who'd y'all get?
Justin Jefferson and Jeff Gladney.
I would take Justin Tucker over Jeff Gladney for sure.
I couldn't. We have Dan Bailey on our team. He has the second highest field goal percentage of all time, statistically. So, I mean, statistically, that backs us. Dan Bailey still can't kick in our dome for some reason. I don't get it. We got the all-time SEC point leader in Blair Walsh when he came out of Georgia. How'd that one go? 27 yards wide. So, we got Daniel Carlson, the new all-time SEC leader in points. That's statistically backed. They can't kick. Minnesota is cursed.
Okay, but then wouldn't that mean you would want the guy Justin Tucker?
No,
guaranteed?
No, because we got the guy, Dan Bailey, second highest percentage.
Let's take this away from the Vikings. Let's just look at it as any old team, right?
Any old team? You asked me if me, though.
You're right. I'm saying, okay, I got your answer for you. Now we're taking it back a notch.
Okay.
All right. If your team, let's go down the draft, and I'll tell you where I'm at on it. If you're drafting like this past year, let's take the 2020 draft. Would I rather have Justin Tucker over Isaiah Simmons? No, I'd rather have Isaiah Simmons. Would I rather have Justin Tucker over C.J. Henderson, the cornerback that went to the Jaguars at 9th overall? Yeah, I'd rather have Justin Tucker.
Oh my God.
I would.
I am looking around for the damn door. What is going on today?
I'd rather have Justin Tucker.
Someone please
guarantee.
Help me out.
I just read out how valuable he was to his team. I just read it out. That was in 8 years. So you're telling me I get another 8 years of that? Yeah, absolutely. You're telling me I get 1,000 points. You're telling me I get 15 game winners. You're telling me I get 58 points in the playoffs, 11 and 12. You're telling me I get the most accurate kicker of all time. We make fun of kickers like they're nothing, but they are incredibly valuable to the NFL game. Should they be? Maybe not. We can talk about that and say philosophically maybe we should take away the value of a kicker.
Build your team based on a kicker in the
I'm not saying round. You do. I'm saying
yes, you are.
I'm saying
you do it over C.J. Henderson.
I'm saying Justin Tucker has accounted for a lot of wins for the Ravens over the years. I'm saying if
Justin Tucker did not win them that Super Bowl.
Okay, he had 15 game winners in his career. He's won a season. He has won an entire season for the Ravens over his career.
Listen,
in his 8 year career.
Situationally, there are times when a kicker is needed, but who's to say that so-and-so couldn't do it just the same?
I just think it's ridiculous. I was with you. We were together. No. We were in Buffalo Wild Wings. You know where I'm going with this. Where they played the Seattle Seahawks. You had a 28-yard kick to win the game in the playoffs. Wide left. You're telling me you wouldn't have given up a first-round pick in that moment? You wouldn't have given up a first-round pick to have Justin Tucker kick that ball?
Those are different circumstances.
I don't know. You can go down.
They're different circumstances.
Every single NFL team has a point in their lives. Every single NFL fan, I would argue, anybody who's watching this, anybody who's listening to this, can point to a moment where they watch their team have a kick to win the game. I know I have.
Yeah, War Damn Eagle.
Okay, come on, man. You're just,
listen. I'm arguing. You said that you would take.
I get that you think I'm crazy. I get that you think I'm crazy.
A kicker over C.J. Henderson?
Yeah, I would.
What?
The greatest kicker of all time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I just think you're acting like I'm crazy and I'm not.
Yes, because I truly believe you are, because you're not seeing it from my side. There has to be some legitimate bad juju. Laugh all you want. Laugh all you want.
I will.
Do you want me to pull up the stats on how Daniel Carlson has more points than Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones combined in the SEC play? Damn, it's hard to believe that he got cut week 4, isn't it?
Yeah,
we drafted him.
I get it. But
Dan Bailey, the second highest percentage, higher than Tucker's.
No, Tucker's the highest.
Not for this
most accurate kicker in the NFL.
And there's a year stamp on it. I'm talking if you have a certain amount of maximum attempts.
Oh, okay.
Vinatieri,
it's minimum 100 attempts. Minimum 100 attempps.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Dan Bailey hasn't kicked enough then.
No, I'm saying that he has done more than that. He's the second highest all time.
All right. We'll see.
You would say yes.
Yeah, I would say I want Justin Tucker. I think he's the greatest kicker of all time. I don't think there's any doubt that you can put that on me. Dan Bailey's Dan Bailey, and it's been unfortunate for you. I get that. That's tough as a fan. I understand.
You just don't see where I'm coming from in saying that getting a good kicker. We have a good kicker. We have a top 10 kicker in the National Football League right now.
Okay, but you don't have a clutch kicker. How's that?
I don't think it even goes to clutch scenarios off of that. I think it's just.
I mean you've lived it though. You've lived the lack of clutchness.
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
I'm saying Justin Tucker is clutch. You see he is clutch.
If you're going back and asking me if I could erase all the hurt from all the missed kicks for Justin Tucker for a first, who wouldn't want to take away all that? I'm saying that I think if we get rid of a first round pick for Justin Tucker, the gap is not.
I want you to know that if in this season the Vikings go into the playoffs, NFC Championship, we're down to a kick. We're watching it together. I swear to God, I'm going to look at you right before they kick and say, "Would you rather Justin Tucker be doing this? Would you trade Jeff Gladney for Justin Tucker?" I'll ask you.
I stand by it. No. I don't want to base my football team off of I need this kicker.
I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. I would not have traded the 5th pick. I would have traded the 18th pick for Justin Tucker. Absolutely. And I don't think the Ravens would have done it. First, that's the other side of it. The Ravens would not have made that move. I think it's an interesting conversation.
Really?
Obviously, it's an interesting conversation. We got what 10 good minutes out of it. I think we're gonna clip that out and put it on YouTube.
I can't believe you don't think that Baltimore would take that deal.
Oh, I don't think they would. No, Baltimore's lived it. They've lived the clutchness. They know how nice it is to know. Oh, we're down by 2 points. All we need to do is get to the 30-yard line, and we're done. All we need to, and we know we won. We know it.
Different.
We know it.
That's so different. That is just a different. That is a different take. I'm telling you.
I don't think it is. I would be surprised.
You supported your argument with stats. I gave you 3 kickers that the Vikings have taken based off of pure stats. Mm-hmm. Fail, fail, fail. God dang, I don't want to go 4 for 4 on it.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we'll move on. I got one more for you. This is a good one. I don't think we're gonna argue as much on this one.
Hopefully. I'm ready.
Hopefully. All right. So, and I'm gonna give you two answers here. One quarterback, one non-quarterback. I'm gonna set it up right there.
Okay.
What NFL or college player do you want a Michael Jordan style documentary on? No current players.
Incredible documentary.
It's an incredible documentary. What would you want to see? It's a tough one. I'll give you mine while you think about it, all right? Because I've obviously had time to think about this.
I got one. I was going to say Brett. I'll stay away from it just to do the non-home.
I think that would be a good one.
It would be a great one to think of all the stuff, the trials and tribulations he's gone through. It's my favorite player of all time. Yes. Yep. Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow would be a good one.
I want a Tim Tebow college, rise up, and then you get the peak. And then it's the what happened after.
And then the fail, and then the bust, and then that goes to
I'm the wrong guy. I've always agreed with you on the Tim Tebow was a bust, technically. I mean,
just for anybody watching in our friend group, every time I say Tim Tebow was a bust, there's a huge fight that breaks out.
They jump on him for it.
So that's a good fun.
He had the potential, but yeah, I'd like to see a Tim Tebow.
That would have been a good one. I have two. I wanted you to have a quarterback and a non-quarterback. My non-quarterback was Ray Lewis. I think that's a good one. I think that would be a really fun documentary.
Now, would Ray Lewis do it though? Would he talk about that? Well, he's talked about it before.
Yeah, I think he would. If you look at Ray Lewis now, every time he talks, like in front of a camera, it feels like he's like preaching to you. That's like his style. So I feel like he'd be really good for that. Granted, you'd have to tone down the preachiness because that gets annoying really fast. Mm-hmm. But like you go through the college at Miami and the whole shit that went on there. I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Baltimore. The rise, he becomes the greatest linebacker we've ever seen, essentially. I mean, you might have an argument there, but at least top 3, right?
Yeah.
And then goes off into broadcasting. You can see kind of his, like, I feel like the last scene of the 10 series documentary would be him, like, talking to kids and just, like, uplifting them and stuff. Like, I feel like it'd be fun. It'd be interesting. I don't think it'd be as good as Michael Jordan, but I think that would be a really good one.
I'm thinking of mine. It might be non-quarterback. Maybe a Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens would be a good one.
Chad Johnson.
That would be interesting.
You could almost just combine it and just do like wide receiver diva.
Yeah.
Like you have the rise of each one of them.
You get a whole episode on him doing his workout in the yard or whatever.
Well, because now because look at me for myself. I'm not a big Stephon guy because of his antics.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, his antics don't hold a candle to what T.O. and Chad Johnson were doing back then.
Not at all.
So, I mean, when you look at it's kind of weird to see how the landscape has changed from where we view divas now to back then. And there's still a bunch of people who say you want your wide receiver to kind of have
you want him to have a little bit of an edge, yeah.
But Odell kind of where it tipped for a lot of people.
Too far.
So it's different.
Yeah, no, I get
Who's your quarterback?
My quarterback would be John Elway. Which I like Brett Favre. I think Brett Favre's a better pick than Manning. Yeah. I didn't think about Brett Favre. If I had to repick, I would take Brett Favre. I think that's a really good one. John Elway, you just look at it. You could go into the college while he was a losing quarterback in college.
Was the baseball decision and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he had a losing record in college his last year, but it was still known as a great quarterback. You talk about how hard that was to be so good but not good enough kind of thing. And then you get into he refused to go to the Colts, I believe, goes to Broncos, has a really good career but can't win it until the very end.
The monkey off of his back.
Yeah, finally gets the monkey off his back in the last couple of years. And then they would talk about how it was all John Elway and it wasn't the running back at all, and how they beat Brett Favre. And I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, that could have been Brett's defining moment, is winning another one.
It could have.
But no, Elway got his. Elway's a good quarterback. Do you put him in like a top 10 all time?
Yeah. I think he was there, right, when they did it? I mean,
think
he was in there, yeah.
I think he should be.
He would definitely be in there for me. Granted, I haven't watched a lot of John Elway film, but John Elway and Dan Marino, I mean, those are the guys from that era, I feel like. So
and Brett.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Brett, but he was already there. I mean,
okay, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, right, you know. Well, actually, was Brett a little bit later?
Mm-hmm.
Brett was later, so I'm talking different era. Sorry. I like
that would be a good one though. I think the early stuff on how he handled the whole "I'm gonna go play baseball if y'all don't get rid of me" type of thing. Yeah. And then he ended up going to Denver.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. I almost said Dan Marino just because the whole like never won a Super Bowl kind of thing would be interesting. I don't think you get 10 episodes out of that, but that would be a good.
When was the last time the Colts technically drafted a bad quarterback? I would have to go back and look because they drafted Elway.
Yeah.
Drafted Peyton. Yeah. Drafted Luck.
They've had some luck, man.
So is Jacob Eason going to be the dude?
It's not Jacob Eason. It's going to be the Colts are gonna fall off a cliff and they're going to get Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, stop!
That's how it goes, man.
I know.
History repeats itself. We saw Peyton Manning go. We saw Andrew Luck go. We saw John Elway go before all those guys. And now it's going to be...
You just land generational after generational stud.
And then you just have to go a couple years in between of being bad. That's a deal, man. Seriously.
I'd take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd take it. All right, so we'll move on. Top five. I want you... Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first because I'm pulling it up.
All right. So my number 5, top 5 sophomore year fantasy breakouts, right? So obviously a breakout in the NFL, but this is purely a fantasy standpoint that we're going from here. Noah Fant. Tight end.
I like that.
The Broncos. As my
I'm
number 5.
assuming later on you're going to have a Drew Lock in there.
I'm not going to do Drew Lock as a fantasy breakout.
I can't blame you, though, because of the...
As a fantasy breakout, I'm not going to do, but I do think Drew Lock's going to have a really good year. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I see that with the Broncos uptick. My number 5, N'Keal Harry. We saw him banged up last year. And I'm saying, assuming that he fits into that role in the Patriots offense, they need him. I mean, he had flashes, but the injury-prone stuff. So I'm hoping that Stidham and him can kind of form that connection.
I really like that one. I'm actually going to talk about him a little bit later. So, yeah, that's a great one.
There we go.
Yeah. My number 4, and this is where I think you might argue with me that it doesn't fit the parameters of this conversation. But, the whole idea for it, I'm just going to put a little bit of backstory on this. The whole idea for this top 5 was guys that aren't going to be drafted within like the first 7 rounds of a fantasy draft, but could, end up being, your weekly starter type guys.
We left Josh Jacobs, Kyler Murray, those guys off because they're there. They haven't hit their peak, of course, but we're mentioning forgotten.
Yeah. So AJ Brown is my number 4.
Wow.
And the reason I feel like he's probably going to be drafted in the side of the top 7 rounds. I think wherever he gets drafted, I think he's going to be a top 20 receiver in the game this year. I think that's how good he is. I think that's his upside. I love AJ Brown as an upside guy in the middle rounds of the fantasy. I think he's that good. I put him at number 4 because I thought you'd kind of give me shit on it.
Now last year though, historically based, he was amazing. I mean, looking at his stats and stuff. So does that mean that you think he's going to get that much better, or he's going to replicate?
I think he's going to be better than last year. Yeah.
I mean, that's a damn good year. I think him and DK both are set for a monumental year.
Yeah, absolutely.
My number 4, Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Okay, so you have him on there.
I do. I put him on there.
Give me your reason.
I think with the way that the Broncos' offense is, he has no excuses now. It's nice to see him out there having fun. You can just see his energy and the way that the team goes around him.
Definitely.
I mean, and it wouldn't bother me. I'm not saying that I would situationally start him in fantasy.
Yep.
No one's going to be begging for Drew Lock in fantasy this year. You can get him later, and you can get it after your starter goes down, or just play in situational matchup.
We play a pretty deep league where there's 20 rounds. Yeah, Drew Lock's going to be drafted. And he'll definitely be drafted by me. I like somewhere late. I like the value there, definitely. I absolutely agree. So my number 3 is Miles Sanders. You look at the Eagles. I think they're a team. They got rid of who was the guy from the Bears that they grabbed? Jordan Howard. Thank you. I lost the name. So they got rid of Jordan Howard. The only other running back on their roster right now that's going to compete for snaps is Boston Scott and Clement. And Boston Scott played good last year. I like Boston Scott as a but he's not going to be the bell cow. This is Miles Sanders' chance to be a bell cow. And he's in a good spot. He is going to be one of those guys that I mean, I don't know where he's going to get drafted. Maybe this is another example of an AJ Brown kind of pick where he might get drafted round 5, round 6.
I think there's going to be buzz around Miles Sanders just
there might be
the role.
Yeah, there might be. I think he has a legitimate chance of being a running RB1 by the end of the year. And we look at fantasy. Granted, I don't think he's going to be a top 10 running back in the league. But I think he's going to be an RB1 in fantasy because there's nobody else there, and he's going to be a workhorse back, and you always look for those kind of situations in fantasy.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I think that's a good one.
My number 3, Darius Slayton.
That's a good one.
So I love seeing the early connection with how it was supposed to be Golden Tate from New York and whatnot in that suspension. Darius Slayton didn't just save his job, made his job. He is now a part of that wide receiver core.
Absolutely.
And Daniel Jones can hopefully look to him for future.
I was going to say, give the backstory, because that might not be a name a lot of people hear.
Oh, I mean, to my knowledge, undrafted or 5th round or something like that out of Auburn. He was a very, very late pick. Wasn't even supposed to play, but situationally based with the way that the New York Giants had their receiver injuries happen.
Daniel Jones targeted him a lot.
And
he did.
He rose to the occasion. I think he was player of the week one week. He had 2 touchdowns, 130 yards.
He had a great game.
And he was just doing solid. It was just nice to see him be that deep threat for them. And you can have Golden Tate play your underneath role, which is what you need him to do.
Absolutely. I love that. That's a really good one. All right, so I'm at my number 2. My number 2 is N'Keal Harry. You already talked about number 5. I'm going to echo what you said, but I'm going to add to it. I think N'Keal Harry is going to be the guy for the Patriots this year. I think this is the year where truly, Edelman starts to get phased out as a guy who's just kind of older, past his prime, and that just happens in the NFL.
Without Brady, that might happen too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So I think N'Keal Harry's the guy. I really do. I think the Patriots, they dropped him in the first round last year. I believe they moved up to get him, right? They traded up for him, or whatever happened. Doesn't matter. N'Keal Harry got injured last year, struggled a little bit with injury, and kind of learning the offense and stuff. There were reports they hadn't figured out the offense the way Bill Belichick would have liked. Doesn't matter. I think N'Keal Harry comes in this year, has the talent, has the understanding of the offense at that level now. It's going to take a year, and I think he's going to be the dude. I really do. I'm excited for him.
I am too. That's why he was on my list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 2, David Montgomery.
Oh, that's a good one.
We're going to talk about a guy who was overhyped last year, and not necessarily based on his performance, though. It is based on Matt Nagy. What are you doing? Play the man. David Montgomery would come in on 3rd down, break 2 tackles, and get you 15 yards, and then they'd pull him out, and that's the only time you'd see him on that drive.
I couldn't agree more.
He was playing well.
Yeah.
He had the potential to be a running back 1.
Yeah.
Give him the ball and let him be that, and then that could help out Trubisky.
Yeah. I believe the exact quote from me, when we first started this podcast, that I was slamming the floor for him, and I got roasted for that one. But
I wouldn't say that anyone who wanted him that bad is wrong, though, because it's just one of those situations. He didn't play bad. Yards per carry, he was doing really well.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
We can't help it that he doesn't get the ball.
100% agree. I think the big thing for him, and the reason he wasn't on my list, he's not my number 1, unfortunately, is because, the offense, I think we both are really low on Nagy. I think we're both nervous about what's going to happen with the Bears this year. It's scary. I love the talent.
Why not rotate your entire offense around David Montgomery, though, and then give it to Trubisky, because he has times where he can make good throws.
Yeah, he's so inconsistent, but he has the moments where he shows it.
As Matt Nagy being the offensive genius that you supposedly are, why can't you realize that just, run the ball between the tackles a little bit more, and then give Trubisky the stuff that that he can do, the play-action short game, making the easy reads. I don't know.
I absolutely agree.
I'm sure he said this. I'm sure he said this, but it's just, why not give it to David Montgomery?
I 100% agree. I hope so. I would love to see David Montgomery bust out. I think he was my number 2 running back last year. I loved him, coming out of the draft. I loved him. When he went to the Bears, I was so excited. I thought it was a perfect fit, and Matt Nagy let me down for the 2nd year in a row. I'm off of the Bears train. I don't think I'm taking a Bears player, and that's me being a bad, I'm taking it personal. I know, and I shouldn't do that, but it is what it is. It's my turn for number 1.
Number 1.
I think I'm going to surprise you with this one. I don't think he's going to be on your list. Paris Campbell.
He's definitely not, because it's number 1 left.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say.
He is well forgotten.
Well forgotten. Had some injuries last year. Again, this is a guy who I was a big fan of coming out. I believe he was my number 2 or 3 wide receiver coming out last year. Goes to the Colts. Yeah, he had injuries. He struggled a little bit. I think he's going to come in and be a perfect fit in the offense. The Colts added they added Michael Pittman to be that deep threat, that 50-50 ball type of guy.
I believe they're getting Devin Funchess back.
Devin Funchess, no, I don't know where he went. He was signed to a 1-year deal. He might have re-signed with them.
Probably.
I'm not sure. That's a good question, actually. But Paris Campbell, he's going to be that slot receiver, Michael Thomas-ish type of guy. That's kind of who I compared him to coming out, and he was coming from Ohio State, so it was a very easy comparison. But I think he has that type of potential. I think that's the upside. I don't think he's going to hit there. Don't get mad at me.
You're good.
I think that's the potential for him. I think he's going to have a lot of catches. I think he's going to be in that 70 to 75 catch range. If he does what I'm expecting. I'm excited for him. I think he's a huge I think he's a huge sleeper that nobody's talking about, and I think he could be one of those guys that...
Oh, he's going to be down there.
Exactly. By week 3, I think he's one of those guys that is going to be started every single week. I really do. I think I'm excited for him. I really am. That's one of those...
That's good.
I'm giving it away early. Like, everyone that I play fantasy with is going to know to draft him ahead of me.
Mentally know
that absolutely.
Get in front of you. My number 1, you've already mentioned him. I truly believe that he has the potential to be a top 10, possibly top 5 running back in the league based off of his play. Miles Sanders. So we're constantly having to deal with Saquon in that division and looking at how talented and good he is. Miles Sanders is not a Saquon, no. But in the Philadelphia offense, statistically, fantasy-wise, he can be a top 5 running back.
Absolutely.
He can. I think this time next year, we're probably talking second, third round, no brainers off of that.
Yeah.
I want to see him get that. He has no reason to not do that. A healthy Carson Wentz. I see what Philadelphia is doing with their wide receivers. It's a little weird. They're going speed, all speed. But Miles Sanders has all the room to grow in that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I love it. Awesome.
Give it to him.
We're good.
I'll take Miles Sanders in the 4th round.
4th round, really?
4th round.
Yeah, I like that. 4th round would be a good spot. He might go in the 3rd. Now we're really talking about it. Now I'm looking at him like, man.
ADP.
Good.
Well, they always get blown out of proportion.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I think we're good there. Guys, thank you so much for listening. If you're on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Please check out the channel on YouTube. I have something coming out on Wednesday, a film review series on Jordan Brooks. So went a little in-depth on that and Jordan Brooks and the run game for Seattle. That's a really good video we have out. I've got a lot more stuff coming out. Please check that out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast. Check us out on Twitter. All those good things. Peace out, guys.
7.